how can you develop a commanding on-camera presence?
Initially, I just set a camera up in my man cave or my office and practice. I mean, in my opinion, when it comes to play-by-play or an analyst role or anything on camera, on radio, you got to get reps. And I know everybody in our business says that, and you say, well, how can I get reps? I'm in school. I don't have the context yet. Well, just start in your dorm room or start in your office and feel what it's like when the camera's looking you dead in the face and the light comes on, and you got to come up with something that's semi-compelling. I think it's always, the first time you do it, it's going to feel weird, but you're not going to be able to land any kind of job anywhere until that comfort level and that command gets there. And the only way I've found that I get better at that is just practice. And so, even during the off season, I'll set up that camera and I'll sit there and I'll go through an upcoming game that I know that I have and, pretend to do an intro, pretend to throw it to my analyst and kind of go through it. And even now, after I've done it for a couple of years, I think it's valuable, but especially if you don't have that experience, that's just a really good way to start. And then, the first time you get the live opportunity and you do a live on camera open, whether it's ESPN 3 or a local affiliate, it's sink or swim time. You got to have some kind of experience from somewhere. So just start with that basic practice. Do it every day if you have to, and do it, in front of people. I think that's another way that can help you out. Do it in front of your wife, or if you can get some of your friends around, say, hey, come watch me do this, so that you get a sense, at least initially, of what that early pressure will be like the first time you're in front of a camera and you're calling a game and you're excited, but you also got to keep those emotions in check and make sure that you're doing a really good job.
When you were watching back the video of yourself, what sort of points were you looking for in terms of critique?
Well, I'm my own worst critic. I look at how my mouth moves, and sometimes it looks a little funny, or if my eyes are really squinty, or if I'm projecting a positive vibe. Initially when I first started doing television, just calling high school football, I'd go back and I would watch my live opens, and I looked like I was mad, and I wasn't mad, but I wasn't smiling. So, if you got a good smile, I think that's a good start, to kind of get you more comfortable, and more importantly, get the viewer more comfortable with you. The viewer wants to feel good about what they're seeing, and they want to like what they're seeing. One of the best ways to do that is to have kind of that warm presence. And I've always found that a nice smile goes a long way in doing that. So initially, when I was criticizing myself or critiquing myself, making sure that I was smiling, an upbeat kind of flow, an upbeat voice and inflection, and just kind of doing those kinds of things. Normal kind of stuff. But when you're talking to somebody, you want to have positive body language. That applies to television as well. And you may need it even more, because sometimes it doesn't filter across like it does in real life. So, that may be one of those times you can overcook the ham a little bit and try to sell it a little bit more within reason. And, how far you go with it is up to you. And I think that's something you develop over time.